He was a man of the law, a symbol of justice in a small southern town. Sheriff James Carter was a pillar of the community, loved by his family and trusted by his friends. But one simple DNA test revealed a betrayal so dark that it drove him to an unimaginable act. His children weren't his. They belonged to his brother, and what followed was a night of chaos, bloodshed, and irreparable tragedy. How could such a bond of trust end in murder? Let's uncover the chilling truth. Welcome to the Tales Across Times, where we unravel the most gripping true crime stories from around the globe. Today's story is about loyalty, betrayal, and the devastating consequences of hidden secrets. If you're ready to dive into this shocking case, be sure to stay with us until the very end. In the small town of Oakwood, nestled in the heart of rural America, a sense of community and trust permeated every aspect of life. It was a place where neighbors became like family, and local law enforcement was seen as the guardians of peace and justice. At the center of this tight-knit community was Sheriff James Carter, a man respected for his fairness, compassion, and unwavering commitment to justice. To outsiders, James Carter had the perfect life. He was married to his high school sweetheart, Laura, and they had 3 beautiful children together. The Carters were regulars at church services and hosted neighborhood barbecues that brought everyone together. James' younger brother, Eric, was a frequent guest at these gatherings, charming everyone with his easy smile and infectious laughter. It was during one of these family gatherings that James' eldest daughter, Emily, mentioned a school project that involved tracing their ancestry through DNA testing. James thought it was a great idea and ordered DNA kits for the whole family. The results, however, would change everything. When James opened the email containing their DNA profiles on March 15, 2018, he was met with a revelation that shook him to his core. None of his children shared his DNA. Confronting Laura, James demanded answers. At first, she denied everything, but as the truth became unavoidable, she broke down. She confessed to a long-standing affair with Eric, revealing that he was the biological father of their children. The betrayal cut deep, not just because of Laura's infidelity, but also because of Eric's involvement. The man James had trusted, the uncle his children loved, had been secretly tearing his family apart. As the days passed, James' anger simmered, threatening to boil over. He couldn't bear the thought of Eric's continued presence in their lives, pretending to be the caring uncle while hiding the truth. The tension culminated in a confrontation that would end in tragedy. James invited Eric to his home under the guise of needing help with a project. Once Eric arrived, James confronted him about the affair and the DNA results. Eric's confession and attempt to justify his actions only fueled James's rage. In a moment of uncontrollable fury, James grabbed his service weapon and shot Eric. Laura, hearing the shots, rushed into the room, only to be met with the same fate. The sound of gunfire alerted the neighbors, who immediately called the police. When officers arrived, they found James sitting calmly, his gun on the floor. He was arrested on the spot and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. The community was stunned. How could their beloved sheriff commit such a heinous crime? The trial was highly publicized, with the prosecution portraying James as a calculating killer who had planned and executed the murders. The defense argued that James had been driven to the edge by the betrayal, painting a picture of a man who had once been a pillar of the community but had been consumed by his emotions. Testimonies from family members, neighbors, and colleagues provided a complex portrait of James, a man torn apart by love, betrayal, and rage. After weeks of testimony and deliberation, the jury delivered a verdict. James Carter was guilty of 2 counts of first-degree murder. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. As James was led away in handcuffs, the courtroom was filled with a mix of emotions: sadness for the lives lost, sympathy for the children left behind, and a sense of justice served. The case of James Carter served as a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of betrayal and the destructive power of unchecked emotions. It was a tragedy that shook the very foundations of the community, leaving behind a trail of broken lives and unanswered questions. As the years went by, the legend of James Carter would become a cautionary tale, a reminder of the thin line between justice and vengeance and the eternal consequences of our actions. Today, James Carter sits in his prison cell, a shadow of the man he once was. His children, now grown, visit him occasionally, their faces a mix of sadness and confusion. The community of Oakwood has slowly healed, but the memory of that fateful night remains, a stark reminder of the fragility of human relationships and the enduring impact of our choices. Betrayal is a wound that cuts deeper than any blade. In James Carter's case, it turned a trusted lawman into a killer. This story is a haunting reminder of the devastating consequences of secrets and lies. What would you have done if faced with such betrayal? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you found this story gripping, don't forget to subscribe to the Tales Across Times for more true crime tales that uncover the darkest corners of human nature. Thank you for watching.